Now let's take the example from the last lecture to the next level. Let's say we want to define a teacher class. So class teacher. Here we add a teach method and simply do a console.log of teach. Okay. However, all teachers should be able to walk because they're all persons. We don't want to duplicate this walk method in the person and teacher classes. So how can we solve this problem? Basically, there are two solutions here. We can use inheritance or composition. The explanation of both these approaches is beyond the scope of this course. That's something that I have talked about in my other course, Object-Oriented Programming in JavaScript. But as far as React is concerned, you need to understand the concept of inheritance. So we can have this teacher class inherit from the person class, and this means it will inherit all the methods defined in this person class. How can we do it? Very easy. So here we add a keyword extends person. So teacher extends person. Now, if we create a teacher object, so teacher, we set it to a new teacher. Look at its constructor. You see the name parameter, right? So the teacher class is also inheriting the constructor of the person class. Okay, so let's pass a name here, Mosh. Now teacher dot, look, we have the name property, which we have inherited from the person class. We have the teach method that we added specifically in the teacher class, and walk, which we also inherited from the person class. So this is inheritance in action. Now let's take this to the next level. Let's imagine when creating a teacher, apart from the name, we need to pass their degree. So here in the teacher class, we need to add a constructor. This constructor should take two parameters. One is name, which we need to pass to the person class, and I will show you that in a second. The other parameter is the degree. So degree. Now, because we added a custom constructor here, we need to call the constructor of the person class. If we don't do that, we'll get an error. Let me show you. So down the bottom of this file, let's remove this line teacher dot, save the changes, back on the console. Look at this error, missing super call in constructor. And you can see it's pointing to line 12. This is where we're defining the teacher class. Right after that, we have the constructor. This is where the problem is happening. So back in the code, whenever we add a constructor in a child class, we need to call the constructor of its parent class. So here in the constructor, we have this special keyword super that references the parent class. So we call it just like a method. And you can see here we have the name parameter. So we pass this name argument that we receive here. So this will initialize the name property. Next, we need to initialize the degree property. So this, the degree, we'll set it to this degree argument. Now finally, on line 22, we need to pass the second argument, the degree, that is, let's say, Master of Science. So if we type teacher dot, now you can see we have two properties, degree and name, as well as two methods, teach and walk. So this is inheritance in action. As you will see in the next section, whenever we create a component, we should have that component extend the base component that is defined in React. Because that base component in React has a bunch of methods that we need in our components. So we're done with classes. Next, we'll look at modules.